Morning. Hope you're having a great morning. Even if you're watching this in the afternoon, I hope you had a good morning, right? So I hope you're having a good day, week, year, month, life. Oops, I got those backwards. Oh well. Yeah, there's all kinds of these new features on my dashboard that keeps popping up, and it had me enter a whole bunch of links. So I'll put the links. I don't know if you'll see them during the stream or not. I'll have to watch later. But there's a link to my bookstore on Amazon, my bookstore, my ebook store, which has very different things, some different things than it has more things than what my Amazon store has. I linked it to my caregivers blog, to my main Dev Ministry site, which needs a lot of work, but there is a donate button on there. So anyway, so there's lots of ways to reach me and lots of ways to find my materials, and I'm even working on some new stuff. That's kind of cool, right? I should have added my YouTube link. I'll add that tomorrow, maybe, or later today, somewhere. Anyway, there's lots of ways to connect, lots of ways to get some more materials, some stuff you can work on your own and things. And so This is a work in progress. Aren't we all just a work in progress anyway? Man, at 62, you'd think I'd be kind of done, right? I should be perfect by now, right? Well, I'm not, so I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm definitely not perfect yet. Maybe by 63. That's August. We'll see. Anyway, I do hope you're having a great day, and check out those links if you see them. I don't even know where they go or anything, so I'll have to figure that out later. But I've got this new dashboard I'm trying to figure out, and so you can teach an old dog new tricks, right? Or well, I'm not real good at it yet, but I'm getting there, right? So anyway, I hope you're having a good morning. So my thoughts were focused today. I started to say they were all over the place, but not really. I woke up thinking about some specific things and some things that many years ago I felt like God had kind of shared with me, and about the bread of life. As I was thinking about Jesus being the bread of life, and I actually, for the first time ever, probably, stayed focused on just that this morning in my studies. My problem was this: as I continued to study it and meditate on it and look up some different scriptures, it just kept expanding. And that's the cool thing about God. I started with this thought about just our daily bread. I actually started with the thought where Jesus said, "I am the bread of life," and that's in John 6:35. I am the bread of life. John 6 and John 17, John 14, those are all just powerfully packed chapters, right? Anyway, and so I started with that thought, I'm the bread of life, and I was thinking about Jesus being the bread of life. And then I thought, I believe some of the other translations, I don't have anything else handy right here, but some translations, maybe the New Living says that he's the living bread. Well, now that puts a whole new slant on it, right? Not only is he the bread who sustains life, not only is he what we need to just be sustained spiritually while we're in this life, but he's also living. Well, we know that. We can place this equals B, then B equals C. Jesus is the Word, John 1, right? He's a Word made flesh. Hebrews 4:12 tells us that the Word of God is alive, talking about the words that God speaks. So he is that living bread, right? And he is that bread that gives us life. Okay, so I'm thinking along these lines. And so then I thought, when Jesus fed the 5,000, we did it twice. He fed the 5,000 once, and he fed 4,000 another time, I think. But imagine what it was like to for the disciples to break off a piece of bread and still have enough for the next person. And they never ran out. They just kept breaking it off. They just kept passing it out until 5,000 people were fed. And I was just like, wow, how amazing would it have been? And it's similar in I guess in actuality is similar to when the widow had the grain and the oil, that she poured out, and it just continued to pour. It never ran out. And I'm like, God really has an unending supply of who he is. We can liken that to his peace, his grace, his mercy, his love, right? And so I was just thinking along those lines, but I started thinking that since he's the living bread, it says here, and he also says that, let's see, it says, most assuredly, Moses did not give you bread from heaven, but my Father gives you, or Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. So I was thinking, man, the feeding of the 5,000 was a miracle, but it's also a miracle that Jesus was even standing there ready to feed the 5,000. That was a miracle that preceded the miracle of the feeding of the 5,000, right? And then I started thinking there's 5,000, and it says there's 5,000 men, so it was probably more like 10 to 15,000 people fed with two fish and five loaves of bread one time and seven loaves of bread another time. And when we say loaves of bread, we're not even, it don't matter what you're talking about, right? If you want to get really picky about it, whether those seven loaves of bread were seven French loaf size bread, right? Or seven little loaves like a hoagie. It don't matter. Either way, it fed thousands of people, right? It was a miracle. But here's what I started thinking about it. Everyone was full. When Jesus got done feeding them, when the disciples got done passing it out, plus there was 12 baskets left over of pieces for the disciples to each have themselves too, right? So but everyone was satisfied. Everyone was full. No one was hungry. And here's what is important to me. If you look at my caregivers blog, you'll and read the devotion I'm going to do here in a little bit, you'll understand a little bit more about why this is important to me. But no one was excluded. No one was told you're too old. No one was told you're too young. No one was told you're acting too silly. You're acting too serious. You're not sitting right. You're not standing right. You're not standing in the right place. Oh, I was going to feed you, but you're standing 2 feet to the left, and you're just going to have to move. No, everybody. No one was excluded. No one was excluded based on race, on gender, on philosophy. God, Jesus fed them all. And when it comes to the gospel, no one's excluded. When it comes to being able to experience his peace, no one is excluded, right? When it comes to opening this word up and reading it, no one's excluded. He didn't say, I'm going to give this to everybody except. There's no exclusionary statements in the Bible like that, right? And then the last thing I thought of was he fed them the bread and they had the strength for the journey, because they had followed Jesus out there. And that was in one of the accounts, they said, we can't send them home, they'll faint along the way. We're just going to kind of have to feed them. We got to figure something out here, right? But after Jesus fed them the bread, the living bread, the bread of life, and then he fed them the natural bread, they had strength for the journey. And you know what is so cool about that is just such a parallel to how Jesus is the bread of life, the living bread for us. Everyone can be full. We all get to eat as much as we want, right? We won't go away hungry when we dive into the word because it's alive. It's going to fill us up, right? No one has to be hungry. No one is excluded. Anyone can pick up this and read it. Anyone can visit with Jesus. Anyone can pray. No one is excluded. God didn't say, seek me and you'll find me. Everyone except you will seek me, will find me when they seek me, right? No one was excluded from that. No one is excluded, where it says, well, you can seek for me, you look for God, you can pray, but I'm not listening to you. I'm listening to everybody's prayers but that one. I'm listening to everyone's prayer except this class of people or this gender of people or this race of people. No one is excluded from knowing God. Think about Rahab the harlot. I know we always put the harlot on her name, right? But she comes to mind. God didn't have to listen to her. She had a bad reputation, right? Which was why the spies probably hid there, because it wasn't unusual for men to go into her house at night, right? Now, they didn't go for those types of purposes, thankfully, but it was a safe place because nobody would look at the harlot's house because everybody was used to people going in there, right? And so, but she stood up and she goes, I believe in your God. And God could have said, oh, no, you're in Jericho. No, I'm wiping y'all. No, no, you don't. No, I'm not even going to listen. No. He said because she had faith, she could save her whole household. No one's excluded. The only exclusions are the ones we put on ourselves. The only exclusions are when we say, I'm not good enough. God didn't say that about you. Maybe we say, he doesn't want to hear me. God didn't say that. You won't find that in the Bible. There's no exclusionary statements. God won't look my way. Oh, can we feel that way sometimes? Absolutely. But there's no exclusions to those. If you believe in God and you seek for him, you'll find him. He'll give you that bread of life that sustains you in this life and blesses you in the next life, right? When we get into eternity, right? And so there's no exclusions, and we'll have strength for the journey. He's going to give us strength for your journey. Our journeys are all so different. Even if you compare, like, because I do a lot of work for ministry for caregivers, even when you look at all the different caregivers, no one's journey is the same. They have some similarities. They're all difficult. We're all taking care of a loved one. We all have challenges, right? There's some things that are similar, but every journey is different. Every life journey is unique because our decisions form our journey, our relationships, all these different things, all these different factors come into play, right? But God, but God will give us strength for that journey when we trust him. And he's not going to exclude anyone from trusting him and from getting that strength for the journey. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. It doesn't say everyone except this type of person can wait on the Lord and renew their strength. Everybody except white people can rely on the Lord and get strength. Everybody except this class or that class, or there's no socio and economic status in heaven. Those, everyone, no exclusionary statement. Everyone who waits on the Lord will renew their strength. He will renew their strength. There's no exclusions. So that bread is just that the thought of this, him being the bread of life. Give us this day our daily bread. Man, that means a whole lot more. That's not just a little chunk of bread. I want warm bread. Yeah, I ain't got no bread in my house. I don't even eat bread much, right? It's more than the bread. Give us this day what we need. Give us today the strength to trust him more. Give us today the strength, the faith we need. Help us grow that faith so we can trust him more, right? All of these things. I'm real animated, right? My thing said, good job, you're moving. No, I'm just, oh, well, anyway, we have what we need to trust him, to wait on him, and to peace out today, right? Nobody's excluded, including you. Peace out. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.